Thank you for long introduction. I didn't know I did what, you know. Yes, that's right. I'm a scholar, so I'm international relations from the viewpoint, research international relations from the viewpoint of constructivism, applying linguistic theories like discourse analysis, interpretation theories. This is very interesting. And today's is a little bit not connected with what I did in master and the PhD level. This is connected today for today's my work as a rector. As a rector, I'm president visiting the university. We are trying to establish bilateral relations, yes, to open dual degree programs. We talk today about these things with authorities of the university. But aside from this, I'm also a scholar, and to look at things that I'm going to talk about today is from scholarly perspectives. From the rector's perspectives, right now in Uzbekistan, we are required from the top that internationalization should take place quickly in terms of, you know, becoming part of international community, academic community, that every university should be, you know, ranked within these QS, Times Higher Education. This is very much, you know, circulated discourse right now in Uzbekistan. And as a rector, I require from university teachers to publish quickly, yes, in peer-reviewed journals, because this is a, how to say, prerequisite for becoming, you know, part of this academic community. But from scholar point of view, I'm looking at this problem and say, this is not easy problem. This is not easy to solve because we have, aside from saying as a rector, saying you have to publish, there are some problems, cognitive challenges, that's why. So I researched this issue, and let me present the result of this research already sent to the article, Journal of Eurasian Studies. This is a very much popular journal. I published one article back in 2017. And right now, let's see, I send and let's see. So today I want to share with you about the results of this research and maybe collect some ideas, yes, to further work on it. So the title is Understanding the Academic Culture in Uzbekistan, Possible Cognitive Challenge Towards Internationalization of the country's higher education. So the research problem, as I mentioned, the politics of internationalization of the higher education in Uzbekistan is taking place, and every Uzbekistan authorities right now is requiring. So this is Ministry of Higher Education requiring every university to be listed within these ranking organizations, and one element is to ask our professors, teachers to publish in peer-reviewed journals. So requiring from the university of teachers to publish in peer-reviewed journals. So I'm asking a question, research question, is it a political administrative problem or cultural one? So most rectors think this is an administrative problem. It's just we have to require from teachers and they start publishing, yes? But me as a scholar say, no, that's not easy, that's not easy. This is a cultural problem. It's not in one day you just ask them, require them to publish, and this is easy, yes? So what kind of cultural problem we have? Let's see. So hypothesis is that requiring from, as I said, Uzbekistan university teachers to start publication in international peer-reviewed journals is not just the political, but the cultural one. This is my hypothesis. So let's see how I test this hypothesis. So theoretical framework, this is interesting. I use Lakoff and Johnson's cognitive metaphor analysis. Yes, and I theorize that Uzbekistan university teachers' perceptions, yes, about writing research articles are governed by language metaphor they use. I mean, I try to look at two metaphors that are very much currently circulating in Uzbekistan academia. So among professors, among teachers, so I look at these two metaphors and understand whether these two metaphors, of course, they govern, since I'm using cognitive metaphor analysis, and see how this hinders the process of internationalization. So two concepts are very much important in academic sphere in Uzbekistan is ustoz and shogird. So what does it mean? Ustoz, so we have the two concepts and I put this concept within the broader metaphorical saying that is currently very much circulated. It is not currently, it is from the history, yes? So ustoz otendek uluh, your teacher, it's my translation, your teacher is almost like your father. So here, it's your teacher is equal as more than, yes, your father. And this is very much pervasive in Uzbekistan and in our culture, that this metaphor governs our daily life action, yes? The second one that comes out of it is shogird, and the metaphorical saying within this concept is ustoz ko'rmagan shogird har bir nag'maga yo'l g'arar. A student without his or her teacher's teaching loses his or her way. This is, yeah, maybe this is awkward translation, but I try to give the full meaning within the what is said in Uzbek version. So these are two metaphors that I looked whether they are governing, and let's see how I try to test these, whether the metaphors really govern or not, and whether this is just this political decision can change the mind or not. If this is pervasive, and I can show that they're pervasive in their writings and in their daily life, so my hypothesis is in one day, with a rector's decision, it's not possible to ask them to start publications. Yes? Interesting. So, continue. So, ustoz is translated, so I argue that translated as a teacher, shogird as a student. However, these teacher and student as concepts invoke different relative preferences in the Western academic community. So I compared. So is it the same when I say professor in Uzbekistan and in the United States? I mostly compare with the United States. But empirical data I collect only Uzbekistan because I'm just comparing with what we have in the United States. Yes? Metaphorical saying in the West. Yes, then I look into the several metaphors that are used in Western academy, or how it is ustoz or teacher, professors are interpreted. So I look into the several of these understandings, and my conclusion here is that teacher and the student in Western academic community is equally structured relationship. It is not that like ustoz, like professor imposes his or her teaching on student, but help to find their own way. So you see, it's a different. So when we say concept of here in the United States, professor, it invokes different analytical concept. But in Uzbekistan, when you say professor, it's different. Yes, it imposes. So you are just hierarchically structured. Then ustoz shogird, so student, and the professor is hierarchically structured. Yes, cognitively. So then I'm saying mutual expectation in both again. So I discuss this in my theoretical work part. Then in order to test this thing, yes, my hypothesis, I collected data. I worked at, I started collecting data in 2018, and I continued a little bit in 2019, because at that time I worked as a director of Innovation Center. So Innovation Center existed under the World Languages University, and this was a kind of center that every teacher, every language teacher from different part of Uzbekistan should come to have undergo retraining courses once in a 3 years. This is obligatory. So those teachers coming to my center, I taught them, and while teaching, I collected this data, tried parallelly to do my research, yes? I asked these questions What do you see? What is the role of your academic supervisor, advisor, mentor, so doesn't it? He or she. So this was a semi-structured questionnaire. Why semi-structured? Because I wanted to guide research, because if you ask questions from Uzbekistan university teachers, they can, 1 hour, 2 hour talk and go to different directions. That's why I wanted to guide, and at the same time I didn't want them to structure and let them talk. So most important thing was this question and this question. Determining, because when I compare the data results, these are mostly the same. So they say the same, yes? But here differences arise. So determine the title topic of your research. If you think other roles that are not mentioned about, so they wrote. So this is what I am saying I collected, yes, from January till June at the Pedagogical Research Center, and April 2020 it was. So 230 EFL teachers. Why EFL teachers, English as a foreign language teachers? Because our center only EFL teachers come to retrain. And why not biology teachers, yes? Maybe I could go to biology teachers. I wanted to show that if you compare biology teachers and English language teachers, they are more westernized in comparison to biology teachers, because they know language English and they mostly exposed to kind of trainings conducted by US Embassy in Uzbekistan, conducted by British Council. That's why. So we are hoping much from these to be on the top, yes, in publishing in peer-reviewed journals, because they read a lot of English language or English journals in English language that are considered to be peer-reviewed. And while reading, they have to consume the culture of writing, yes? That's why it was an EFL teacher, so I justify why it was. This is the result, data analysis results. So it is interesting that determining the title topic of your research, 170 said yes. 60 said no. Why? As I said, I just limited myself by saying in my article that maybe it was somehow, as I said, trainings. Maybe it was among those teachers were teachers that had master degree in Western countries, like I did. That's why I changed my also the culture. Yes, culture changes. But this is interesting. 170 said yes. And then, if you think other roles, and they wrote, yes, they should show, they wrote like these sentences like, they should show the way, I don't know how to write, they have to show this kind of things, they direct me in the right way, I don't know, because they're very professional, I'm just starting my research, that's why I lean mostly on my professor, showing me, determining the title of your research, because in Uzbekistan, I'm of course a professor, so I have 4 or 5 PhD students writing PhD under my supervision. They always come. Is it right? Is it all wrong? Could you determine my topic because you know better? These kind of questions frequently circulate, yes? So that's why 173 teachers showed the cognitive dependence. Depends on his or her professor. And 57 teachers showed cognitive independence with what they wrote. Yes, I interpreted. So what? So with this, what is the connection? So then I contextualize the data results. How can culture of being cognitive dependent upon ustoz relate to the process of improving Uzbekistan's presence in various international university rankings? Then I ask questions, so what? Of course, if they showed with the data the results of cognitive independence, so what? What is wrong with writing articles, yes? Then I ask it further, analyze it, I can relate to the given problem in the sense that publishing into journals require articles to be original and critical. here I analyzed that, you see, when teachers show cognitive dependence, so they never criticize their articles, existing knowledge. They never criticize but consume. So two are, where is it? So, yes. So the two concepts, they are descriptive rather than critical. So I analyzed it further, the texts they wrote. Because it was not enough, we only understood at a level of survey the thinking side of Uzbekistan teachers. Now, how this thinking side turns into action, it was not enough with the data I collected. Then I further went to analyze the texts they wrote. So how their thinking ability reflected in there. So then I analyzed several doctoral dissertations. This is my data collection and teachers inside. This result do not demonstrate how they thinking turn into action. Thus I analyzed texts of these doctoral dissertations and research articles. I just took, a lot of articles and that they wrote, and I just read it. I read it and tried to interpret. Of course, the result is absence of criticizing in these texts. The culture of being descriptive and conformist is there in their writing, because, as I said, ustoz and shogird imposes on them. We never criticize our father. Yes? Never say you are wrong in our culture. So since ustoz is compared to, in this metaphorical saying, is compared to ustoz like your father, or ustoz more than your father, you never criticize him. If you don't never criticize him, you never criticize his teaching. It means when you are writing, you quote them, but you never say, I don't agree with you. So that's why I want to come with something new and contribute to the existing knowledge. You see? That's interesting, and so this was, how to say, the result of my research. So I analyzed text, and this culture generalization also there. So three cultures: criticizing never there, culture of being descriptive. Yeah? Say describe. If you read these texts show that person who is writing doctoral dissertation, they quote a lot of people. They quote and they like what ustoz, teachers, what scholars already wrote. They generalize. So when you read their doctoral dissertations, you understand that they read a lot. That now they know a lot. And now you can conclude that they are PhD and they are scholars. So this is kind of descriptive, being descriptive in writing articles, and conformist in a sense that they try to conform into the existing but not criticize and come up with something new, which is required in peer-reviewed journals. So the culture of generalization of previous scholars is there. So this is an end. I tried to be brief and concise, and I want to just to learn also more from you, because I sent this article to one journal, very Central Asian Survey. I got rejection because I don't know who they are reviewed, but when they reviewed, they mostly they didn't understand the text that I analyzed, because they tried to he tried to analyze whether I'm just comparing doctoral dissertations. So in Uzbekistan we have two systems, like DS, Doctor of Science. First we have to PhD and then doctoral science. Yes? So I didn't like, and I said this, I elaborate a little bit, I add some, and the most important thing, they also said that what you are claiming, what you are referring as some metaphorical sayings from Western academic community is not there. That's why. So this was my maybe weak point, that I didn't collect data in the United States. Yes, in the United States maybe in the future we can continue this research and partner with your department. That's why also it's important. And maybe collecting some data and comparing and turning this into more research, yes, into more fundamental research. But so far, yes, I just taking for granted what is in the United States, that critical, yes, and never teacher imposes his teaching on students, teach students very individualistic, they try to find their own way, they can say, you are wrong to professors, this is not the case, etc., in Uzbekistan. Now this is a little bit elaborated and said to, I added more texts from articles, and previously it was not there, only doctoral dissertations. That's why I also added some articles, research articles, and now it is in the Journal of Eurasian Studies, which is also very much popular journal. Let's see, so what happens, but so far just wanted to share with my research. That's why here, you see, I always struggle with myself as a rector, asking from teachers. You have to publish quickly. But on the other side, I say, how it's possible, maybe we need time. That's why when I came to today, to Arizona University of Arizona, and talk, we tried to make an American councils. We, in Washington, we met the officials with the American Council. I want to attract applied linguistics department and organize courses in terms of how we can, in Uzbekistan, to improve writing abilities of teachers, academic writing abilities of teachers, so that it is not like quickly administrative political decision, you have to publish, but by changing the culture of research writing, then we can increase the number of publications in peer-reviewed journals and enter into existing ranking journals, rankings, yes, international rankings of the universities. So thank you very much.